What up, OB Nation? Brandon Cochran, Alex Raj here, co-founders of Optimum Basketball. We're really excited to be here with you today. Got a great topic to introduce. Can't wait to jump into that. But first, want to make sure that you understand what this vlog is about. We're here to bring value and want to make sure that your questions are answered. And you have two former pros that would love to answer any of your questions and bring you value and give you a practical approach, new tactics, new skills, the mindset that it takes to succeed at any level in basketball. So today's topic is 5 steps to becoming a lockdown defender. And I remember my junior year in college, it was a rough start because our coach was committed to making us the best defensive team in the nation, and the whole mantra and goal of that year was defense wins championships. So of course, any goal or any outcome that you want, you've got to have a plan to achieve it. So his plan was to put this weird contraption over the rim that I'd never seen before, and I had no idea what it was. We're all, warming up, foam rolling, doing what we need to get ready for practice, and the coaches are putting these lids on the rim, essentially. And so we start practicing, and we go through a normal practice, we're shooting jump shots, but no ball will go through the hoop because there's a lid on it. So what that taught us is every single shot is a missed shot when you're on defense, and we learn to expect the other team to miss no matter what, and every defensive play you finish with a rebound. So one of the worst things in basketball is to defend for 30 seconds or 35 seconds and then the other team to get an offensive rebound. Absolute backbreaker. Every coach hates it, every player hates it, because guess what? You don't get to go down and shoot a jump shot. You've got to defend for another 30 seconds. So finishing defensive plays with a rebound, that was just ingrained in us for 3 weeks, not being able to see the ball go through the hoop. And we ended up winning a conference championship, went to the national tournament. We're the #1 defensive team in the nation, and we're top 5 in 5 different statistical categories. So our coach had an outcome that he wanted to create, built the plan, and made it happen. And so I am super fired up for today's topic, 5 steps to becoming a lockdown defender. So Alex, tell them about defense winning championships.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have probably all heard the saying, you just said it, defense wins championships. And it's true. It's not just something out there that your coach is going to throw at you just to get you to play harder. When you think of a defensive team, a team that takes pride in their defense, they have a certain characteristic about them, a certain heart and a certain grit that they take, and they take with pride into every single game. And those are the teams that you do not want to play. Those are the teams that you step on the court and you feel their presence before the game even starts. The ones getting loud in the warm-ups, going hard. It's just, you feel that intimidation. And so if you can create that culture within your team, we talk a lot about creating culture here in Optimum. But if you can create that defensive culture within your team, it'll carry over to the offensive end. So it's not just that you're only going to be a defensive team, you're not going to put the ball in the basket and you just get stops and you somehow win the game. No, that energy on the defensive side of the court will carry over to the offensive side, and that'll take care of itself. But being able to get those stops when you need them at crucial times, especially when the game's on the line, last 5 minutes of the game, knowing how to win, just being able to create those plays for your team on the defensive end, that'll transfer over into transition buckets on offense, easy baskets down the court, puts you and your team in such a good opportunity to win a basketball game. And if you guys can continue to do that, then eventually you guys win. Guess what? You got a championship. All right. And we're all here as basketball players to get to that level and win championships. And if you're not, I don't know why you're playing the sport. So yes, defense does win championships. Absolutely. But to get into it, so we got 5 actionable steps for you guys to take. 5 of them, count them, just 5. I was like 15. So 5 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 5. So we got 5 actionable steps for you guys to implement on the court with yourself and with your team to help you guys win games and ultimately win a championship. And so step number 1 is?
Build your heart's capacity. So what the heck does that mean? Basically having heart. But you hear that a lot, we hear that a lot, you hear like heart. What the heck does that mean? Like, you gotta have heart. So how we're phrasing it in step 1 is building your heart's capacity. So every single time you do a defensive drill that you might not necessarily like because it's not glamorous to do a deny defense drill, but you're working on it, you're building your capacity and you're building your love for the game. So every time you do these drills that you might not like, you're expanding and you're becoming a better basketball player. So, you know, you really gotta love it. And that's what it comes down to, your love for the game, your pride. You have to have that, like, just in your heart that you wanna do it. Otherwise, you're never gonna be a defensive stopper. So that's really where it starts. How much do you love the game? How much pride do you have? And how much heart? And it's really what you can control, right? Like, you can't always control if a jumper goes in. You know, well, I can and Alex can, but you know, most people can't control every single shot. That's a joke, we miss shots too.
Sometimes.
But sometimes. But building your heart's capacity and defense, you can control that. You can control if you're gonna rotate when you're supposed to. That's in your control. You know, you can control who you're guarding, if you're focused, if you're locked in, what defensive play are you running? Are you in zone? Are you in man-to-man? You know, and being focused throughout the game. So defense is definitely something that you can control, and it really starts with your heart.
Absolutely. And I think the word that you're looking for there for a little bit is have a little dog in you.
Oh,
right?
yes.
A little fight.
Little fight.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Get after it. Not afraid to get dirty.
Exactly.
Get in there.
Yes. Yeah. Tenacity. Exactly. Just being relentless. That's actually. But we'll get there. We'll get there. That's what
really
we're all
the word.
about. Yeah. That's it. Right there. Yeah. So step 2, commitment. Man, Alex, tell them about commitment.
Yeah, definitely. So step 2, commitment. It's got to be in a world of its own. All right. So within you have to be able to dig down deep and know that you got to extend yourself on the offensive end. But really, you need to put all your energy and focus, not all of it, the majority of it, into defense. Okay? So you can trade buckets with the team all game, and you can come down to the end of the game, and who knows who's going to win. It's 50-50. Toss the ball up. Or you can get buckets and then guarantee your guys selves a spot at winning because you guys are getting stops throughout the game. All right? It's a game of scoring, and whoever scores more, all right, whoever gets more stops is going to win. You know what I mean? So just committing to that defensive end. And like I said, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fun. You know, defense is hard work. Training to, you know, play tough defense is, I mean, just trying to get kids to even want to sit down in defensive stance for more than 30 seconds is a battle in and of itself. Let alone for 40 minutes. Let alone for just the 30 seconds that are on the shot clock. You know, so many times you'll see a team and they'll be out there and they're gonna be standing straight up, hands down, you know, no defensive stance. It's because they're not committed to it.
That's it.
They have not bought in. You know, maybe the coach is telling them, maybe the coach is screaming from the sidelines. Coach knows what they need to do, but the team is the one that's actually playing, right? But they have not committed to being able to play defense for 40 minutes, let alone maybe even 30 seconds. You know, so your commitment level has to be very, very high. And we're going to talk later about how to train your body to become a better defender. But you have to, before any of that, you have to want to play defense. And you have to understand the importance of playing defense, and then the commitment level that's going to take you to that spot where you can play defense for 30 seconds, then a minute, 2 minutes, boom, 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 40 minutes, and then start winning games because your defensive intensity is just so great.
Absolutely. And with that, there's a word that we like to use here at Optimum Basketball is obsession. So there's commitment, which absolutely got to be committed, and then there is also obsession. And you're just obsessed with stopping the other team, with stopping the other player. And once you get to that level and you're building that habit and that's your mindset, man, look out. And Alex, let me ask you this. If you play tough defense day in and day out in practice, are you going to get playing time?
I don't even have to think about that. 100% yes. Yes, absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah.
So if you want to play, you want to get more minutes, it starts on defense.
100. Being a part of so many teams and being around coaching a lot of teams, training a lot of different players, seeing a lot of basketball played. Some players, that's their specialty, just playing defense, and they start the game. They're not They're not expected to score, 10, 11, 12, 20 points. They're expected to get stops and get their energy up on the defensive side. And that's how they earn their check playing basketball, is playing defense. And sometimes it's just that. Defense, maybe defensive rebounding. Maybe you can add some scoring and they're getting paid a little bit more money. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But some of it's just people earning a check. We're talking about pros playing defense. That's how important it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that brings us to step number 3. Basketball is a game of fundamentals. Defense has its own set of fundamentals that you got to master. And so, B, tell them about the fundamentals of defense.
All right, so step 3, being fundamentally sound. So this is so important and will save you so much time. So we talked about heart and commitment, all you must have. But if you're fundamentally sound, and what this means is, for example, if you are in help defense, fundamentally sound would mean you're down in a stance, like we talked about. Guys don't even want to be in a stance, girls too, for 30 seconds. But if you're in help defense and you're not in your stance, what happens when they skip it? You're not going to be able to close out, and you probably get crossed up, or you'll get a 3-pointer hit in your face, or you'll get blown by and get dunked on. So just that small thing of being in help side, down in your stance, active, ready if the ball gets swung, that you're rotating, you're closing out. Or if the guy or girl drives towards you, you're ready to take 2 quick steps out, hands up, take the charge. Or if you're shot blocker, timing it, going up and blocking the shot, right? Or on defense, when you're in deny, are you standing too close to the player where they just go right by you? Do you have a good gap? Do you have your thumb down? If they pass it and you steal it, you get to push the ball out and you're off to the races for a breakaway dunk. So there's a lot of little things on defense that you can do to be more efficient, to be more effective, to really save energy, because defense is tough. Closing out, in my opinion, I think we both agree on this, the closeout in basketball is the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, I would agree. Hardest thing to get yourself to do.
One, because it's a lot of work to run back and forth, and secondly, what you have to do when you close out is you have to sprint at a player whose goal is to sprint by you to go to the basket, so it's already opposites. You have to chop your feet and slow down. You have to take away the shot first, and as you play at higher levels, you better wait to take away that shot first, otherwise guys and girls are just gonna knock it down in your face. So you've got to take away shot first, and then you've got to be low enough and keep your feet moving to where if you get jabbed or someone rips through and attacks the basket, you got to be ready for all those different factors, right? So there's fundamental things that you can do within a closeout to set yourself up for success. So what we teach at Optimum Basketball, and I would say 99.9% of, depending on what level you play, but 99% of high school and college players, you're forcing baseline. So when you close out, now you only give them one option, one way to go. They're only going baseline, they never go middle, and then your rotations are set up, for you to succeed. So if you're closing out and you're letting the guy or girl go middle, well, that right there, you're not fundamentally sound, and guess where you're gonna be sitting? Right on the bench,
like this.
right next to us. And we want you to play. So all jokes aside, all kidding aside, we want to make sure that you're in the game, and that's the goal of this vlog. So when you're practicing your defense, if maybe, there's different coaching levels, different training levels. So maybe your coach doesn't know. You're, 8 years old and your coach doesn't know exactly how to close out. That's what this vlog is for. Ask college players, ask pro players. If you don't know any of them, ask high school players. But really seek out the fundamentals of defense, and that's going to dramatically improve your game.
Absolutely. I love everything you said. And fundamentals of being in your stance, body positioning, body mechanics, footwork goes right along in there. We talk a lot about positive steps and negative steps. When changing direction on defense, when you're sliding down the stance, you want to use your positive steps.
Absolutely.
Right? If you start, what a positive step is, if you change direction, you're going to step in the direction that you're changing right away, opposed to maybe stepping in or stepping away to gain your balance and then going the other way. So if I'm going to change direction this way, my first step's going to be with this foot, I'm going over here. Opposed to if I'm changing my direction here, it's here and then out. That's 2 steps.
Slow.
Yeah, it's a lot slower, right? making yourself a much quicker player. So just knowing that footwork wise, if you guys have questions on that, ask your coach. If you still have questions on that, write a comment in this video or on our vlog series. We talk about 5 steps to becoming a lockdown defender as well, and we'll do our best to get back to you guys. Do your due diligence. Do you know your matchups for your next game? Have you been watching game film? Are you gonna be guarding a shooter, a slasher? If it's a shooter, then you got to be up on him. If he's not a shooter, then can you take 2 steps off? Going over screens, going under screens. You know, these are all different things that, doing your due diligence, watching game film, and knowing who you're going against, you're going to know how to best guard your opponent and put your team in a situation, most preferably to win. So that's all just part of being a fundamentally sound player.
And I love that, you know, doing your diligence, being a student of the game, and being prepared, really. You know, when you're walking into the game, you know what you're about, you know what you're taking away from the other team, and being a smart player. So that brings us to step 4. So Alex, tell us about speed, agility, and quickness.
Absolutely. So speed, agility, and quickness, as in a lot of different sports, is going to help you take your game to the next level, especially in basketball, on the offensive end, and most especially on the defensive end. So it's all about staying in front of your man and being able to be quick enough to stay in front of that guy. And speed, agility, and quickness is great because it's all stuff that you don't have to have a basketball court. You don't even have to have a basketball to work on. You know what I mean?
No excuses.
None. 0. Get it out. You know, we don't want to hear none of that.
Make it happen.
So in all seriousness, like, do you guys have a jump rope? Do you have a speed ladder? If not, you can just do some little jumps, put some ankle weights on, work your foot quickness with ankle weights, doing different. You can have a ladder, or you cannot. You can even draw a ladder with chalk on the ground and make it work.
A crack in the concrete. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No excuses.
None. And a resistance band. Yourself, you can go get a resistance band. I use them all the time in trainings. I think they're great. And just doing, it's as simple as just doing defensive slides with resistance. Just making yourself work extra hard, doing the exact motion that you're going to go through in a game. Can't get any more game specific than that. And you'll see the results. Another thing you're going to want to work on, and I touched on it earlier, is just sitting down in a stance. Go sit on the wall, go just sit in your front driveway in this defensive stance and get used to sitting that way, you know, right down here, almost like you're sitting in a chair. Alright, you can even over exaggerate it, where you're really like sitting down.
I used to watch TV sitting like that, down in my defensive stance, just watching TV down here, arms out.
See, I used to eat Cheerios like this right here.
Right there. Ooh,
you know what I mean?
That's it. How bad do you want it?
How bad? I mean, my Cheerios was about like 3-4 minutes, so I got 3-4 minutes in from a young age. You know?
Yeah, that's it.
But then it turned into 40 minutes. Yeah, anybody can do that. But no, for real, get used to sitting down in a stance, because it's not just for defense, but also for offensive side too, right? Triple threat, a lot like a defensive stance. You gotta train your legs to get low and be quick. Low is fast on a basketball court.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, speed, agility, quickness. Like I said, stuff that you can work on by yourself, at home. Don't need a team, don't need anybody else, just by yourself, and it's just putting in the time and the effort. So if you guys need any type of ideas for different speed, agility, and quickness drills to do, don't be scared to reach out to us, comment on this video or in our blog or even on our Facebook or Instagram, and just let us know, hey man, I'm looking for some different ideas of stuff to work on. I want faster feet, I want to be better, quicker on defense, on offense, and we got a bunch of different stuff. So don't be scared to reach out, feel free, and we'll do our best to reach out to you and give you some different ideas, whether through videos or other stuff. But absolutely, if you're looking to get better on defense, work on your speed, agility, and quickness, 100%.
And one thing for that too, just practically, you want to always do your speed, you want to do your agility before your speed work. So when you're the freshest, you want to go as hard as you possibly can. So if you're doing a ladder drill, or you're using a hula hoop, or you're using the crack in the sidewalk, whatever it is, where you're hopping over it, or doing icky shuffle, all these different foot speed drills, you want to make sure that you're doing those first, so you're maximizing your energy levels, your energy systems in your body, and then do your sprint work. So go into your 10-yard dash, 20-yard dash, 50, 100s, 200s. So that's the right order of how you want to do things with the quickness drills, agility drills first, and then doing your speed work.
So that brings us to step number 5. Strength training will give you a competitive advantage on D.
Yeah. So step 5, strength training will give you a competitive advantage really in the entire game of basketball, being a stronger player on offense, defense, but specifically on D. If you are trying to play defense on somebody like Alex, who's 6'7", 220 pounds, and has been in the weight room for a really long time, myself, been in the weight room for a really long time, and pride ourselves on being really strong and really just want to punk you, you have to get in the weight room. And especially on defense, if you're going against an offensive player that's going to get into you with their shoulder, they're really good with using their hip, especially point guards, shooting guards, you just won't be able to compete, you won't be able to get stops, and you won't play. So really, we have a whole article on strength training for basketball players. It's different, so definitely check that out. We also have a vlog about that as well. But for defense, you really want to work on your shoulder strength. You really want to have a strong chest and build up your chest, because you're going to take a lot of shoulders in your chest, and you want to be able to absorb that. Make sure you keep your face out of the way. And really good core strength and balance. So when you have super strong and explosive legs to where you can stay on your toes and push off and move laterally and take contact, there's going to be very few guys and girls that can get by you. So that strength, and then you're also going to be able to rebound, right? And we talked about finishing defensive plays with rebounds. So in order to be able to rebound, you've got to have strong explosive legs to jump up and get the rebound, and you've got to have strong arms, put the ball under your chin, and make sure that players don't knock that ball away.
Yep, absolutely. Love what you said there, especially about being able to take contact on defense. Just being able to also dish it out, obviously on defense. Sometimes you want to be a little bully out there when you have that size advantage, and that comes from getting in the weight room, working on your strength, and not letting guys go by you. You know, if a little guy that shouldn't be going by you is going right by you because you haven't been working on your foot speed, but you got the strength, work on that foot speed, get in front of him, and then you've been in the weight room, you've been putting in, hitting the bench press, you got your chest up, he hits that brick wall, he's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? So yeah, absolutely. Get in the weight room, give yourself that competitive advantage. And guys, like we were talking about earlier, sitting down in a stance, train those legs, get on a squat rack, whatever you got to do, and that's going to help you be able to stay in that stance on offense and defense, but most especially on defense. But yeah, get out there, train those legs, train the upper body, and you'll become a much better defender.
Well, and I think also confidence. When you're stronger and you know that you can physically impose your will on somebody on defense, it's such a mental game. When a guy runs into you and they think they're gonna just bully you and score, and they bounce off. And that's something you can control, because you're in the weight room and you're stronger, they bounce off, they don't score, and then guess what? They might not come through the lane for the rest of the game, or you might take them completely out of their game because you committed to getting in the weight room and being a stronger player.
Absolutely, guys. Just take some time, some commitment, and extra effort. But hopefully you guys enjoy these 5 steps, implement these, and share them with your friends, share them with your teammates, and decide today to become a lockdown defender.
Train hard,
train smart,
stay relentless, play the optimum way.